but it's important to discuss so that nobody gets any doubts about. She worked and worked and worked until people refused to let her work anymore because they were afraid she would get sick and she would make them sick. She couldn't find any more job. So she goes out and she's trying to find anything for them to eat. She finds nothing, so she goes and she cuts half of her hair. Cuts half of her hair, and she goes out and she sells it for some money. She gets money back, and she's able to feed Ayub. Ayub alayhi salam insists to know where she got the money from. She insists not to tell him. Days pass, and of course there's no more food, no more money. So she goes out again and she cuts the rest of her hair. All of her hair. She goes out and she sells it, and she brings some money and she brings it back to Ayub, some food. He refuses to eat or insists until she shows him her hair. She uncovered her from her hair. And I think any man would know the difficulty of seeing your family. It's one thing that you care about yourself. I think we live in a very, very selfish society, especially younger people, always caring about themselves. But when you grow up, you realize you're even, as fathers or as mothers, for you youngsters, you don't realize how much they don't care about themselves. They care about their family, those that they love, care about your spouse. It's extremely selfless. It's a selfless feeling. So imagine a man hitting that rock bottom, right? All money, all the kids, all his health, and now his wife is so desperate to this level. That is when Allah Azza wa Jal quotes Ayub's dua. At this point, Ayub alayhi salam made a dua. And of course the dua is inscribed in history until the end of time. وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ. When Ayub called upon his Lord. أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. Oh Allah, hardship has touched me. SubhanAllah, when scholars speak about the ayah, I mean, he was, and I want you to understand how resilient he was. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. This is not a man he's not a weak man. He's not a feeble man. Anybody in our society today, I mean, when life hits you and hits you and hits you, it's easy to say, I give up. Like, whatever, who cares? Who cares? He could have said, let me go to Allah. Let me just die. And I felt this many times, especially when I deal with parents. Especially parents that are in older age and they have lots of hardships, especially with their kids. At least that's what I see. And I see parents who just say, I just can't wait for Allah to take my son. I can't handle this anymore. Like we have this martyr and this shaheed mentality all the time. Like it's just the difficulty is too much. But subhanAllah, a part of being strong is that things get really, really hard, and right at the moment that you're about to break is the moment you get the strongest if you just continue a little bit more. Whether that's weightlifting or running or life, it's really that little bit more of resilience that pushes you and brings you amazing success. Would we give up if we were in that scenario? Would we just say, the cancer is eating my body and it's over? I'll go to Allah. Or would we have Ayub's mindset? This amazing model for humanity. Ayub alayhi salam, he calls upon his Lord, فَكَشَفْنَا مَا بِهِ مِنْ ضَرٍ. As soon as he did that, Allah Azza wa Jal, 180 degrees, just like that. Allah Azza wa Jal took him from all the difficulty into all the success that he imagined and more. What happened? Allah Azza wa Jal tells him, "Urqud birijlika." Oh Ayub. Very, very important point. I'll get back to all these points. He's a man that couldn't move. He told him, pick up your leg. Can't move. Pick up your leg and put it on the floor and move it. Force your leg to hit the floor. Give more effort. You got to rock bottom, but I need you to give. Here is when I need you to give a little bit more. Take your leg and put it on the ground and move it. And a spring came gushing out of the floor. Bathe in it and drink from it. He bathed in it and he drank from it, and he got all of his health back instantaneously. Some narrations mention that Allah Azza wa Jal clothed him from the garments of paradise at that moment as well. He was perfectly 100% healthy again, young, strong, and able. He stands up and he goes outside. Narration mentions that his wife came and she didn't find him, so she went out looking for him. And she's asking, هل رأيتم هذا المبتلى؟ هل رأيتم هذا Did anybody see this sick man that's going through this calamity? And she runs into Ayub. And she doesn't believe it's Ayub. She said, I'm Ayub. He said, no, you're not Ayub. No, I'm Ayub. And subhanAllah, Allah Azza wa Jal tells him, وَآتَيْنَاهُ أَهْلَهُ. Ibn Abbas mentions, Allah says, He gave him his family. And he says that his wife, Rahma, lost decades on her age. And she was able to reproduce again. She became young and beautiful as well. And وَآتَيْنَاهُ أَهْلَهُ وَمِثْلَهُمْ مَعَهُمْ. And Allah Azza wa Jal gave him his family and the double of them back. So the narrations mention that Ayub alayhi salam after that had 26 children with his wife. He didn't give up. He got his family and more back. Beautiful wife, his health, and his family. And then of course the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in Bukhari that Ayub alayhi salam, Allah Azza wa Jal wanted to give him his money back. So Allah Azza wa Jal أنزل عليه من السماء جراد من ذهب. Allah Azza wa Jal brought down from the heavens locusts that were golden, gold locusts. Locust is usually associated with destruction, especially of crop and vegetation if you were a farmer and somebody that had land. Well, Allah Azza wa Jal brought him locusts that were gold, made of gold, and filled his house with them. Gave him all of the gold of paradise, if you will. And filled his house with them. And the narration mentions, two different narrations, but one of them mentions that Ayub alayhi salam, كَانَ يَأْخُذ, he would take from these gold locusts, the gold coins, and put them in his pocket. He was stuffing his pockets. So Imam Ahmad narrates that Allah Azza wa Jal asked Ayub, أَلَمْ أَكُنْ أَغْنَيْتُكَ? Oh Ayub, why are you stuffing your pockets? Didn't I make you filthy rich again? قَالَ بَلَى يَا رَبِّي. He said, Ayub, of course my Lord, my Master, you have. وَلَكِنْ لَا غِنَى لِي. Of course, but no, there is not enough richness of your barakah to me. I can't be too rich from your barakah for me. وَلَكِنْ لَا غِنَى لِي عَنْ بَرَكَتِكَ. That I can't have enough of your blessings and your noble bounties. This is the story of Ayub alayhi salam. إِنَّا وَجَدْنَاهُ صَابِرًا نِعْمَ الْعَبْدِ إِنَّهُ أَوَّابٌ. Allah Azza wa Jal calls this story ذِكْرَى لِلْعَابِدِينَ. This story is for every abd of Allah. Because every abd will be challenged. And every abd will be tested in different ways. Of course, we don't get tested in all of these ways. I mean, all of these ways are, if somebody was on drugs and depressed and suicidal, you'd be like, oh. But Ayub alayhi salam, the mindset Allah Azza gives us that it's not a weak mindset. It's a resilient mindset. So Ayub alayhi salam, Allah Azza says, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدِ. This is the most honorable type of slave. This is the one that has the mindset, the focus. He understands it. إِنَّهُ أَوَّابٌ. So Ayub alayhi salam's story, beautiful story. But what is the story of resilience? What is resilience? So a study, and alhamdulillah, I did a lot of research on this. I'm doing my master's in these kind of things, particularly in resilience. So resilience, what is resilience in psychological studies? So there's 4 parts, and I'm going to go through them. And subhanAllah, I want to show you that it's as if you extract them from the story itself. Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't give us stories for no reason. It's not Netflix, right? It's not a movie. It's a profound message. The first of them, I'm going to read it verbatim. How do you build resilience in your life? The first of them is internal beliefs. And the psychologists say, mobilizing a source of faith, hope, and traditions within yourself builds resilience. In i.e., your iman is your resilience. And subhanAllah, it's interesting because the Prophet ﷺ told us, authentic hadith in Tirmidhi, أشد الناس بلاءً الأنبياء. أشد الناس بلاءً. The people that are most challenged in life are the anbiya. For me, I've always looked at this hadith and said, oh wow, they get the hardest tests. ثُمَّ الصَّالِحِينَ. Then after them are the righteous. ثُمَّ الْأَمْثَلُ فَالْأَمْثَلُ. And then under them are degrees. But I always say, oh man, so I guess if there's more hardship in life, why would somebody want to be religious? Why would I want to have my iman grow so I can be tested more? No, it's because your iman builds resilience. It's because you can handle more when your iman is stronger. When your faith and your convictions and your morals and values are stronger, you are stronger to deal with any adversity or any obstacle. Meaning the Anbiya were the most resilient humans ever. And we fall on our knee and we might not move for a week. Right? It's that small difficulty. Donald Trump gets elected president and Muslims are crying at home with tissues. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but I think there's a level of strength that we're missing. That is resilience. Internal beliefs. Your why. So this is your why. Your why is our conviction in why do we wake up in the morning? Is that strong within us? What are we expecting from our life? Why do we leave the door? What do we want from our life? What are we trying to do in life? What are we trying to achieve? And just saying Jannah, especially for youngsters, is definitely not enough. I mean, there has to be greater ambitions in life. And this is it's a longer discussion, maybe a whole lecture on ambitions and building and cultivating ambitions. That Allah has made us khulafa'ullah on this earth. Right? It's an immense responsibility. So that is an important. Can you build your internal belief? Can you strengthen your beliefs, your iman? This is psychology. It's not my own thoughts. Number 2, a strong relationship with at least one person. An extremely strong, supportive relationship. And SubhanAllah, I read and I tried to study this story from multiple sources, different books. I didn't read any of our scholars, maybe my ignorance, but I didn't hear anybody talk about this amazing love story between Ayub and his wife. I mean, what woman would you know? What woman, I don't know the love a woman can have for somebody, that she can she can go from Trump Tower to the ghetto, and she can bury all her children, and her husband doesn't leave bed for 18. We're not talking. It's easy to say all of these things, right? Children died. Easy to say. 18 years. It's so easy to say it, but we're talking about day and week and month and second and moment. Is that a love story? It's one of the most amazing love stories movies don't write about love stories like this. She didn't leave him for 18 years. A supportive relationship between you and somebody else. And this is really important for families. We assume sometimes that, tough love, quote unquote. And then this has a part to it, and I'll get to that. But really a supportive father and a supportive mother build resiliency in their children. Somebody that it's a mentor or a peer or somebody above you, truly is the one that builds immense resilience. It makes you more able to deal with difficulty when you have somebody, especially somebody that's resilient, but if somebody's around you that's always supporting you and there with you. That's why it's extremely important that husbands support wives and wives support husbands, no matter what. It's really important that you always support your children, even if they fail and they fail and they fail and they fail. The compassion, mercy, and love cannot leave. It is what builds resilience. It is extremely important for that. So relationship number 2. There's only 2 more, and I'll finish inshallah. Number 3 is your self-control. The ability to regulate are you able to learn to deal with yourself at moments of hardship? If you walk outside right now and you saw a pierced tire, it's freezing cold and your tire's flat. What is the first thing you focus on? Focus brings you meaning brings you emotion, and then you get very angry. If you focus on the flat tire, you say, why is Allah doing this to me? Then the entire chain after that is one of anger and rage and frustration, and you never understood that Allah is doing this for you, not to you. There's a big difference between for and to. Allah Azza wa Jalla gives us challenges. Life's challenges are for us, not to us. And when we understand that, It's a different focus and it's a different mindset. It's a different ability of me controlling who I am. Self-control. The ability to control what I focus on and how I feel. My ability to control my reactions. And this only builds through practice. Right? That you continue to build. By the way, resilience in all sides. Everybody that says it, resilience is not a gene. It's a skill. And I said this in the beginning. It's a skill and ability that you learn. You cultivate it. It's a muscle that you grow. So we use it within ourselves as much as we can. Ayub could have very easily got angry. Ayub, by the way, a narration I didn't even mention, his two brothers didn't come near him. He lost his family. One of the narrations mentioned that his two brothers said, Ayub had no good in him, so Allah punished him. Ma'adallah, of course. He's a prophet of Allah. But isn't sometimes family the ones that hurt us the most? Especially in difficult times. It's like you're going through a difficult time and it's just like salt on the wound. Just one word, one sentence. But our ability to control what we say, to control even when we're angry with our children or our spouse, somebody that we love, a friend, a cousin, somebody going through a difficulty, a calamity. It's that beauty. Words are like, it's either honey or it's salt. It's within our control. Last but not least, and there's so much more in these. Last but not least is taking initiative. So calamity falls upon you, people, they get paralyzed. They can't move. I lost my job. I'm losing my job. I have a lot of debt. My child. I don't know what to do with my child. My teenager is really troubling me. I don't know what to do with my coworkers. I don't know what to do with the ones under me. I don't know and you get paralyzed. And people don't move. Allah Azza wa Jalla told a bedridden, paralyzed man who is the most sick human ever in history, I won't give you victory until you take your leg and you put it on the floor and move it a little bit. You have to give effort. Maryam alayhi salam, she had a baby and she never touched the man, and she said that Allah told her, just touch the tree. Just touch it. Don't worry about the rest. You have to give effort. You have to continue to be proactive. We have to continue to move. We can't be immobile in difficulty. And subhanAllah, that builds the concept of resilience. Here, a part of that, of course, is the ability to have successes and to build good habits in winning and building successes within your children. That's really important. Put them in positions to succeed that makes them more resilient. All of these different things that I could discuss, and maybe we could talk about a little bit more on how to teach resilience and build resilience, not only within ourselves, but in those around us, inshaAllah ta'ala. I ask and I hope and I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal blesses us with the important habit, the important skill of resilience, no matter what calamity happens to us as individuals or as a society or as an ummah, that we understand that resilience is the muscle to use in the face of adversity. That it happens for us, not to us. Allahu ta'ala. Jazakallah khairan. If there are any questions, inshaAllah ta'ala. The 4 points. So the 4 points: belief, iman, relationships. So building belief, and there's a lot of points under this, but building strong belief within yourself and in your children, right? Belief here meaning a mission, a purpose, etc. Number 2, relationships, supportive relationships in particular. That can be family, that can be community, that can be extended family, very, very important. Have that. By the way, the Prophet ﷺ lost his family, but his grandfather took him in, his uncle took him in. It's really important in building resilient youngsters. Number 3 is self-control. Ability to focus your emotions, your mindset. Are you going to see the cup half empty or half full? Is it happening to you or against you? This perspective is very, very important. And a part of this, by the way, I just want one point about this controlling yourself. It's really good when you laugh at yourself. I mean, there's a whole study on why laughing, sometimes kids fall. My daughter does this a lot. And she's crying, then I kind of tickle her and she starts laughing. It's really bipolar. Like kids are like this bipolarness, but it's really good to teach them to laugh. If you love your kids, laugh with your kids, and cry with your kids, they'll be amazing kids. Just do those 3 things. If you want to go the easy way. Those 3 things are really important. And last but not least is taking action. Initiation. Do something. Be proactive. Where did he live? Where did he live? Oh, laugh. Where did he laugh? Oh no, I know. Did Ayub laugh? Oh no. I don't know if that's necessarily in there, but this is what some psychologists say that it's good to be confident with yourself. That's the point. We're talking about like being okay with making a mistake. Like not being hard on yourself. Not being your worst enemy. That's kind of the point that they're trying to get at. If that makes sense. Any questions? Oh, yes, Fadl, go ahead.
So, if there's like a lot of things happens and then people often keep thinking about that problem all the time.
Yeah.
So how to counter that or stop thinking from that?
Yes. So
For example, there's an accident or something happens and the person is thinking for 4 days just constantly.
of course.
Trying to
Of course.
that thought, but it just doesn't really.
Subhanallah. Of course. Of course, any time we're in difficulty, of course you think about it a lot. You're dazing off. You're eating and you're not thinking about, you're thinking about the bill or the problem or, right? It's kind of human nature. But subhanallah, I think the techniques are, number one, to understand, first of all, so it's multiple things. You have to see the good in it. Whatever the challenge is, you have to understand why is this happening. Right? Your iman has to be strong. And here, this is why we understand qadar. And they don't understand this, right? But we're like, qadar khayrihi wa sharrihi, right? Like I understand this is happening for a reason. What do I do about that? Am I gonna just be defeated, or I'm gonna take action? I'm gonna focus my mindset on how to be productive. I'm going to focus my mindset on what is good. I'm going to try to ask Allah Azza wa Jal, tawakkal on Allah Azza wa Jal, make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. All of these are all the habits, right? These are all the habits in our deen, but we use them and more. And of course, taking action, figuring out a way, asking people how to solve this problem, getting help. These are all really, really important parts to that. And of course, it's difficult. We all go through the same stresses, but I think it can eat you alive if you continue just to think right? So the idea is to take action, to do something about it. Really, it's energy and that motion that will bring you, inshallah ta'ala, good, beneficial vibes. Bidhnillah. Yes, tafadhal.
I'd like to ask, how are differences between prophet and messenger?
What are the differences between prophets and messengers? Very good question. Maybe you want to ask Imam Zia. There's many opinions to it, but most basically, a messenger has a book or a message, a rules and laws and regulations, right? Sharia. And a Nabi is either, he's telling about somebody else's Sharia. He's more of giving the tazkirah. He's not bringing a new law or new rules and new regulations at a very basic level. But there's more differences than I think if you ask a sheikh or somebody that can give you more. Jazakallah khair. Anybody else? Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feekum. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfirullah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us of those that live in the legacy of Ayub alayhi salam and meet him in the akhirah. Allah, ameen, Allahumma ameen. Barakallah feekum, jazakallah khair. Allah barik feekum. Allah barik feekum, jazakallah khair. Allah barik.